What's up? What's up? What's up to all you future millionaires out there? Anyone out there trying to get your mind correct? We have someone with us today who's going to help you do that. Of course, we're looking to be successful people. We're looking to be successful parents. We're looking to be a success in life, as that may go, however that may seem. We have someone with us today who is going to point us in that direction because this is what they teach. This is what they show others. This is what they are an expert in. We have with us today serial entrepreneur, best-selling author, a business coach, and a corporate trainer. Jay Haleem is with us today. I want to welcome you to the Millionaire by Morning show, Mr. Haleem.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I had the pleasure of looking at a bunch of your content, a bunch of the things that you are doing, man. And you are well needed, man. You're a person that is pushing out positive energy. As far as the content that you're pushing out, man, if I could push anyone towards your energy, your production, everything that you're doing, man, from helping the community to helping businesses and entrepreneurs. When did you get started with this, man? When did you know that this was the path? Like, can you take us back, the origin story?
Oh man, so I jumped out off the porch real early. Coming from Newark, New Jersey, had came up in that era of the crack era. Family was hit with it very hard. So of course my family was using drugs, and they was pushing us to sell it, or at least that was what was on TV and what was around us. And so I jumped off the porch at like 13, started doing that. I tried to do the job thing, but even the job I got at a car wash, it was owned by one of the biggest drug dealers in the city. And so I'm on Saturdays seeing them with the dog fights and everybody coming in with their Mercedes and everything like that. And I'm helping out with the dog fight. I'm like, I want to do that. So, I jumped off the porch and started doing that. But I still was a good kid, though. I still wanted to go to school. It was just the way I chose to get my money. So I ended up going to college, squeaked out of high school, got to college, and really turned the heat up on being in the street. Became a felon while I was like my second year in college. I still ended up graduating, but I couldn't go and get a regular job. So, I still had that entrepreneurial spirit, but it was time for me to apply it in a legit way. And so I went out, instead of crying and saying they not gonna give me a job, I went ahead and took my matters in my own hand and started my own business. And that was over 20 years ago.
That's what's up, man. If I may ask, what was that first business?
Oh man, so I had a cleaning business and started off cleaning people's houses. And then I was in South Carolina at the time. Then I went to Maryland when I got married and started doing commercial at that point. And it was phenomenal until I ran it until to 2011, in the middle of that 2008, 2012 debacle, with the country. And I had to come back south where it was a lot cheaper. I had my first child and I had to start over from scratch. Again, you get hit back in the mouth because I became a felon in South Carolina. And I had to go back there and start all over again. So I was starting back over from scratch.
Man, your story is so familiar. It's familiar to me, and it's familiar to a bunch of people. And I don't want to age or anything, but I would, with the story that you told, I would say Generation X.
Yep. Yeah.
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 So I know how it was back then, man, and really how they don't a lot of people wouldn't know, but like the really back then the thing to do was thugging.
Yeah.
That was just the thing to do. That was the cool thing. You can listen to the music and it'll tell you the whole story. But it was really the first way to really get some money and see some money, as far as the hip hop scene, the rap scene, the drug scene. It all coincided with each other. So you can't really place blame on anyone not knowing, there was other ways to get money.
Yeah. That was the loudest way. I say. At first I used to say that, But as I got older, got more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, I didn't blame. It's just that's what I chose because it looked better. You know, one of my best friends stayed at that car wash. You know, I brought him over to the car wash. He stayed at the car wash. I left because I said this looked way better than cleaning these cars. And so I remember 2 years after that, bringing my car to that car wash to clean. I felt like the man, even though it wasn't no Mercedes, but they moved out of the way, let me wash my own car. You know, it was ushering. I got supported for that. I got cheered on for being, you know, good at being in the street like that. So, you know, you're going to take that as a kid more so than looking like it's just a hard grind to work.
Right, right. Yeah, I totally understand, man. I totally understand. As coming from that era, I know exactly how it was. Um, so I mean but you took that. And one thing about it is if you were in the streets, the cool thing is at least as of now, you can take some of those same ambitions and put it into entrepreneurship now. You know, business coaching now. And there's a direct correlation, if I may say so. And so now you're a certified business coach, small business development consultant, president, founder. And you can tell young boys that you can stay away from that, right? And you can skip all of that and you can be what I am today.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I do that now. You know, I have a nonprofit called I Won't Starve Academy. And that's what we focus on, working with high school and college age students, teaching them how to be entrepreneurs and also teach them career development. So we're getting them early, telling them things that, you know, I wasn't told. Again, I'm from Newark. Back in the day, you know, the movie New Jersey Drive, that's what we were known for, stealing cars.
Right.
Literally in high school, they would come to tell us, say no to drugs, Nancy Reagan and Barbara Bush, or, you know, don't steal cars. And they were showing us like kids dying in Twisted Metal because of joyriding with cars. When I go to high schools and able to speak life into kids, they wasn't speaking like it was police officers in there saying don't use drugs or you're gonna go to jail. And they had scared straight back in those days. They had all those things, not nobody loving on us in that space. So I'm glad I'm able to be in that space to give some positivity, show them. I tell the hard truth of my story, but at the same time, it's like I got a chance to do it another way. And when I got that chance, I took it.
Nice. Nice, man. That's super dope. If I do say so myself. So what are all of your angles at this point? Like what is your superpowers? Like how do you go in there? What do you know what I mean? How do you handle it?
You know, my superpower is I'm extremely empathic. You know, I have a gift to I know how to deal with individuals because when I help people, I help them for them. I don't help them for me. I'm not trying to make you into another me. I'm trying to make you into a better you. And so a lot of people, even when they give advice on what you think they should be doing. No, I'm literally taking in what I learned from you and able to give it back to you and put you in the right path, you know, for your business, for life, for success, things of that nature for you. I want you to be the best you. And I see that when I talk to other coaches and I see other people in my profession, I see a lot of people mentoring, like, hey, they're trying to make many them. And they wonder why the people aren't successful because there's only one you. Everybody don't have what I have. There's a lot of people who had the same story that I have, but it ended differently. You know, they back in jail or they're not successful business owners. They don't. I'm a successful investor. Like I know I'm lucky. I know this is God. Some serendipity that came into that as well because I got a lot of friends that's not here. You know, so my path is my path. Everybody has their path. I'm just going to say if you going through your path, you see a pitfall like mine, this is what you do. You see a roadblock like mine, this is what you do. You see a pothole like mine, this is what you do. I'm not holding the information. I'm going to make your path a lot easier to run through than mine was.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Got it. And along with that, you have services. Let's speak on that a little bit. Services, as far as your coaching, you help people to get certified as far as working with the government. So
yeah.
Can you break that down? Like your services, what you offer?
Oh man. So the government piece has been, you know, a life changer for me. You know, some years ago, I had when I went to South Carolina, I had already had a camera because I bought a camera when my daughter was born, just taking pictures of her. And I had that camera. I was broke. I was flat broke, working for $8 an hour. I sold the camera trying to get some money because I knew my son was on the way. But my pastor gave me back the camera. He the one bought it from me. He gave it back to me 2 weeks later and said, God told me to tell you to use it. So I went crazy on figuring out how to be a photographer. And I did. And I was able to be extremely successful. One of the tools that I was able to use was working with the government. I wasn't aware that photographers work with the government. I didn't know how to work with the government. I had a brother to put me on to it and say, hey, you should get certified. Went through, listened to him, got certified to do business with the government, and I knocked it out the park. I worked with every level of government from school districts to local, federal, state government all over South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia at the time. Then I started working all over the country. So I was able to do very, very well with that. And then about 5 years into it, I created I Won't Starve, which is my nonprofit. And we created a workshop called the I Won't Starve Experience, where I was bringing in minority business contractors in to teach them how to do business with the government. I had government officials there at my workshop, and we were talking to them and training with them and bringing the awareness on how to do business with the government. And that was when I became a coach, which was about 2017. And once the pandemic hit, and I was on my second book at that time, photography kind of went to the back burner, and I had a whole film company at that point. Just not just doing photography. That kind of slowed down because all the corporate people wasn't out taking photos or doing any videos or nothing like that. So I was able to go full time into the consulting firm, and it just worked out. The timing was perfect.
Nice, nice, nice.
So I'm sorry to finish up. I'm sorry to finish your question. That's how I got there. But how I help people with my services, again, a lot of minority contractors or not minority business owners don't know how to do business with the government. They don't know how the first step. So with us, we talk about certifications from an admin perspective or helping you with contracts. That's the admin perspective. But you also need to know, if I say, all right, go ahead and do business with the government, you go look at these forms and everything like that, you're going to be swimming in information and not know what to do. So that's where the coaching portion comes in, talking about market research. Also, partnerships, strategic partnerships. You're going to need money. Government don't pay like everybody else. They pay more than everybody else. They don't pay like everybody. Meaning, you might get into the government. It might take you two months to pay you your first paycheck. Well, you're going to need money to be able to sustain until that happens on $1 million, $500,000, contract. So we create partnerships with financial institutions, not just regular banks, but regular lenders that deal with just the business. They're not looking at your credit. They want to see if are you doing business, and they loan directly towards you to say, hey, if you got a government contract, we'll front you the money because we know that money, the government money, gonna come. If they don't got enough money, they'll print more. We know you're good to go. Same thing with the partnership. Some people, certifications are hard work and it takes a lot to get. So sometimes you can come in underneath a certified prime contractor and be a subcontractor. So we create those partnerships and line it up. So those are some of the things that we do to help out minority contractors get into the government contracting sector.
See, I told y'all out there listening, Millionaire by Morning, we got one on the line right now. He can show you government contracted, man. It's what you say, they pay the most. They don't pay the same, but they pay a lot.
Yeah, they pay a whole lot. And it's constant work. Once you get in there, I mean, a lot of government contractors, or you can re-up. Like, you get a 3-year contract. It's just like the employees. They say they take an act of God to fire a government employee. They do the same thing with the contractors because at the end of the day, they don't want to keep looking for new contracts.
Yeah.
So if they got you might have 3 re-ups. So you might get a 3-year that end up being 9 years.
Right.
As long as you do the work and you don't get caught slipping, you good.
Right. Man, your first book, or one of the books, I won't say it's the first because I'm not really for sure if it's the first. I Won't Starve. Tell us a little bit
that's
about
the first
that.
one. That's the first one.
Okay.
I Won't Starve from $8 to 6 figures. So yeah, like I said, when I went back to South Carolina, being a felon, I had to slide in a job where I can. So I worked as a houseman in at the Hampton Inn while I was trying to build up this photography thing. But I left my job In about 2.5 years, I was already at 6 figures, earning 6 figures as a photographer. But since then, I have worked with the WNBA, the NBA, the NFL, you know, Amtrak, some of everybody, Save the Children Foundation. I've worked with a bunch of major corporations across the country and the world, with that camera, doing film and photography. And so it became, and that actually opened the door for me to be an investor as well. So I bought my first commercial space at that time doing that, just with a camera. So, I always tell when I go to a space and I see one of the best people look like you and me that got a camera, I'm like, don't be letting nobody tell you that you can't get a bag with this. You know what I'm saying? You can actually make way more money than the average person with this camera if you do it right. Don't let nobody, shun you away from, your art.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what's up, man. So you won't starve.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, I like to give it away, man. So you won't start key principles to entrepreneur development. It was about how I did it, just the steps. My key principles, my 5 key principles of how to, develop yourself as an entrepreneur, and it's simple. It's cut and dry. It's not over everybody's head. I would go to speaking engagements and I would be in there with all these people and they're talking about $500,000 and $50,000. And I'm seeing these people that got $500 in the dream, and they're trying to figure it out. I wanted to talk to them. I wanted to talk to the person who had $5,000 in the dream, $1,000, a job, trying to figure out this side hustle. And so that's what this was. You won't starve. This is what happened in 2020. And this came out, it took off because, everybody was sitting down in the house during COVID. Yeah. And I got a chance to touch everybody. And more so, I was on the East Coast. Now I'm on the West Coast. So people on the West Coast started reaching out to me about my book. As soon as they opened up, for us to come out, they was like, hey, can you come out here, do a speaking engagement, do a presentation? And I was just on the plane and they was showing a lot of love on the West Coast. I ended up, setting up shop over here. But that was it right there, and I had a You Won't Starve entrepreneur development workshop and training that I do as well. It's like a 4-hour training that I've been doing that for years now, just teaching people how to actually really the steps to be an entrepreneur, because anybody can be an entrepreneur, but everybody shouldn't be. It's like the military. As long as you go through the proper training and you pass, you can come out a soldier. But if you don't, you're going to probably fall by the wayside.
Yeah, man, you just said an earful right there, man. I appreciate that. For this show, before anyone listen to it, to get something from it, I know that to be successful, I have to put out actionable steps. Every guest that I have, I want, you can come on, we can talk, we have a decent discussion, but what are some steps, you know what I mean, that you can kind of give my audience, because that's what it takes. That's just what it takes. And, the steps that I take is, if you listen to this show, you're going to come in and you're going to leave with something. You know what I mean? So I totally dig what you're saying, man. There's people that can get into it, but they're not going to leave out the same way as others.
Yeah.
Right. I would like to ask you, because I have steps and I have principles and I teach them on this show. And the first one is mindset. Right. How would you say that in order for you to do this, where is your mindset at? Like, does it revert back to your youth? Where is your mindset when you're doing this and contemplating?
And I'm at another place now, it's just, this is life for me. I always tell people when I'm talking to individuals, especially people that I meet that's into entrepreneurship and they got jobs and they ready to just jump out. And I say, look, man, you got to be in another mindset to be able to understand when you don't know when you're going to get your next paycheck. You know what I mean? It's not cool. So I got more than double-digit years of not knowing when my next paycheck. I've learned how to live that way. You know what I'm saying? And it's not easy. Some people don't know what to do if they're not getting something every 2 weeks, every week. Now, it's more than enough coming at this point in time. But at the same time, it was hard trying to figure that out, and living and not being the one on vacation all the time and not doing all this stuff. Yeah, I just got back from Hawaii. So we vacation now. But I remember a 5 year span when there was no vacation, when it was one car for 2 or 3 years, and we're figuring it out. And only vacations might be 45 minutes away for an overnight stay with the kids and come back. That you got to be hyper focused on what it is that you're doing. Even if you do have the job, like, hey, at least from 9 to 5, you deal with that. But from 5 to 9, you got to be hyper focused on what it is that you're doing, because people be worried about the money. The money going to be there. How are you going to be a master at what you're doing? Nobody can be able to shouldn't be able to tell you, look, I know this in and out. I know how to do this. I know how to produce and keep reproducing my product that I put out, or my service that I'm doing. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people hit lightning in the bottle and get that run, and then they think it's something, and they don't feel like they got to work and get better at it and become masters. And then when somebody push you and you can't continue to perform on a high level, then you'll fall right back down. So focus on being great and hyper focus on being amazing at what it is that you do.
Man, I'm glad you said that, because that's one of the one of the principles that I teach. And I'm gonna make this a two question. Mastery. You mentioned that a couple of times in there. Mastery. Do you feel like you're a master at your craft? And the second question is, did you have a mentor to help you to become a master?
The funny thing is, yes, I do. I do feel like I'm a master at my craft. I didn't have many direct mentors, but I definitely had a lot of pseudo mentors. But yeah, I look, for me, I wanted to be great. When I went into the cleaning business, I literally took a year off and worked for my wife's pastor in his commercial cleaning business, running $1 million contract, and I learned everything. As soon as I left that for the year, I jumped to my own 6-figure contract. And so I'm doing a 300,000 square foot building at 24 years old, learning everything from working. I know how to clean any kind of floor you put in front of me. I know how to do windows. I know how to do anything, conventional kitchens, anything. And when I left, it wasn't nothing I wasn't prepared for when I stepped out there. That's why I was able to be successful. I didn't lose that business. I sold the business. And that helped put me in a situation where we didn't fall off. We was able to go comfortably. My wife didn't go through foreclosure, none of that stuff, because of a skill set. So when I got a chance to get that camera, I'm a spiritual brother. And so my pastor told me that God said, give it back to me. I mean, he gave me $2,000 for this camera just 2 weeks earlier. I'm cool with that. He said, here. I said, you want the money back? He said, no. I went crazy on that camera. I looked at pictures that I was taking, like, oh, I remember where I was at doing that. I'm outside just taking pictures of anything. I'm studying. I'm wearing out my YouTube. I'm going to conferences whenever I can get up some money. And so I can get great at what it is that I do. And so I've always been on it like that, because that is the thing that saved my life. When I became a photographer, you got to understand something. When I became a photographer and I became a master photographer, every job I would have applied for to work for, I would have never even gotten a door. But I worked with the government. I worked with the U.S. military. I worked with all of the, with the NFL, the WNBA, all these people that would have said, oh, you're a felon. You cannot work here. Nobody asked this master this person with a skill set, what my record was. They let me in the door, and I worked and paid me better than any job I could have got. So it was because of the mastery, and I'm sold on that. I'm an investor, but next week I'll be in Atlanta at an investment conference. I was just in New York at an investment conference 2 months ago. I do not play around about knowing what it is that I know with like the back of my hand. That's what you can't take from me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, ain't it a funny thing? It's so crazy that the degrees and the way that they told you to do or whatever, and the route that they told you to take, you'd never get a job if you had that degree and a felony.
Yeah.
But if you had a certification, no one ever asked you. If you're an entrepreneur, no one ever asked you.
Yeah. That was the craziest thing.
Yeah.
And I sing it from the rooftop. I tell people all the time, because we need to know. That's what didn't happen in our generation. We wasn't telling the story. And we still try to see people try to gatekeep and hide it now. I'm just not like that. you come through something like one of my trainings or you run against me, I'm going to let you know because it benefits me. The more people you help, that's the easiest way to get to 1 million. You can stack up the people you help. That the numbers, the money won't follow. Same thing. That's just a life thing for me. It's like I want to see people like if people deal with you, how are they better because they were dealing with you? If you can't show me that, then you're not really showing me anything. You can talk about what you want, but I don't have a track record of people doing business with me or working with me or spending time in my presence and not being elevated. And I stand on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all. That's the best resume you could have. That's the best
Exactly.
resume you could have. Other people speak on you. They're your brand ambassadors.
Exactly. Exactly.
Definitely, man. Can you speak real quick? I just heard you mention taking a trip, coming back from Hawaii. Can you speak? One of the pillars that I speak on is movement. And you can look at that from a sense of movement as far as working out or movement as far as traveling and expanding your mind. Can you speak on how important movement is based on a kid that came from where you came from to traveling to Hawaii, to taking those type of tropical vacations, how important it is?
Well, just moving around like you said is period. I mean, I just mentioned Hawaii because I literally just got back. But anywhere, I will put more stock into me going about to go to Atlanta for a conference, going just coming from New York for a conference a couple of months ago, me investing in myself. Like that reinvesting into yourself is everything. And it might not be in your backyard. Sometimes you got to go other places and shake hands with other people from different walks of life so they can teach you something that you might not know. Now, that might come in the form of a vacation, but at the end of the day, you got to get out of your backyard. You can bring it back home because I'm a big fan of that too. Like, lock down where you are. Everybody literally want to get rich online. Like, what I mean? Clients I get, and they be like, yeah, I'm trying to get my social media right. I said, well, okay, you selling this. How many people did you talk to at home? And I go to census on them. I pull up like, hey, your town got 500,000 people there. So you mean to tell me you can't try to find 1,000 of them? Because
Right.
1,000 at your price point, you out of here. You rocking out. And they ain't never thought about that. They're already online. I'm like, go over there and get some knowledge and then come back home. Lock down where you at. You know what I'm saying? But you got to keep filling up that tank because being somebody like me who speak, who go out and I'm teaching, I'm training, I'm always pouring out the cup. So I got to go get that cup filled back up. I got to go get some different, philosophies, some people who done what I'm trying to do. And I'm not the biggest fan of just talking to them because I listen to people who didn't do what I'm trying to do. I came up to my biggest confidants was a crackhead and somebody was a mechanic. They were honorable men because the crackhead didn't mess up his household. He kept a job. He just did what he did. And the mechanic was an ex-drug dealer who kept a job. But they loved me and they gave me some game as OGs and said, hey, look, this is what you need to be doing. And none of their
Wow.
advice was stuck. So I'm not kicking theirs to the curb because they ain't graduated from college. Because
Right.
a lot of them jokers who I listen to, they ain't care nothing about me. And they told me stuff that wasn't going to benefit me. They told me stuff that was going to keep me in a bad space. So I learned how to navigate both. But traveling and moving is going to put you around different people so that you can see how different people move, get different people's perspective. Because you can't get drunk off your own success and your own perspective. You got to get new perspectives and see how other people are doing it. So that way you can come and you stay fresh. And even the things you bring to your people at home remain fresh.
Boom. Boom, 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 boom. That was a jewel just dropped. Same thing, man. I tell people to this day, I had two families. And one of them, that man, they loved me to death. And they was alcoholics, drunks, pimps, prostitutes, and drug dealers. And loved me to death. And I'm okay with that, with what they had going on, because they gave me some of the best advice. Um, so I get it, man. I totally get it. So what do you do to market yourself? Marketing. How do you get yourself out there where people know of you, Jay Haleem?
Well, number one thing is, market research first. We have a lot of people, and I teach that as well. People don't think about market research. We waste our time trying to just throw stuff online, throwing stuff against the wall, see if something stick. I'm going directly at the people who need what I got to sell. And I want to talk to them. and then I'm going to put myself in those places. So when you're talking about government contracting, you're not getting no government contract offline. That's just not going to happen. That's a lie. You know what I'm saying? The government barely, a lot of government agencies can't even use social media. So you got to be in the room where those government entities are, shake hands, kiss babies, talk to them, meet them, give them old school business cards sometimes, and go to their functions that they have and meet them. I do a lot of work with big level nonprofits as well. These are the people who are having, 30, 40, 50 entrepreneurs coming through classes, every quarter. And they need people like me, coaches, to coach them. Why? Be two things. A, I'm one client as opposed to 50, you know what I'm saying? And then two, the same thing, but for a different reason. Like one-on-one coaching, trying to tell us, hey, pay this person X amount of dollars for coaching. We got 5 pair of Jordans. You don't want to give up $1,000, $2,000. But I'm cool with that. I understand the difference between my client and my customer. So that nonprofit that you got to give you a free class is going to pay me the money that you wouldn't pay me, but they'll pay me for all 50 at one time, as opposed to me had to haggle y'all.
Right.
And I'm not hiding that. That's just a tactic that I use, but that's market research because I know who my customer is. I always use the analogy like if you drink Coca-Cola products, more than likely you never bought it from Coca-Cola. So you're not their customer, but you're still a client because you're still drinking their product. You're a customer of that gas station, that supermarket, wherever you bought it from. But that supermarket gas station is Coca-Cola's client. You know what I'm saying? That's their customer because they spending money with them.
Yeah.
So I don't bother with all of that. I deal with major level people, and then we work it from there. So that's
I like that.
I didn't start there, but that's where I am now. And so I don't really put a lot of my coaching on social media because I don't have to. I go straight to the source. I have a team, and we go out and we do it like that. We invest. A lot of people won't put $500 or $1,000 down to get a table as a function for the government or a major corporate function so people can see what you do. But it works. I come from the old school of business, being in business for more than 20 years, where you didn't have a problem with paying for an ad in a magazine, paying for radio. Like we still do that, and it still works because you still seeing the doctor's office do it, still seeing the lawyer office do it, the dentist's office doing it, car dealerships doing it. We still trying to do this funky stuff. They work in social media too, but they have not left that because they understand they're looking for the regular people to come into their office every day, and so am I.
Righteous. Traditional marketing. That's guerrilla marketing.
No, it's just regular. It's regular marketing because we're not out with flyers and nothing like that. You got to invest. Like we came from business 101. You got to have 30% of your budget is marketing. People go on social media because it's free.
Right.
We pay for marketing. We pay to be in spaces. We pay to have ads. We pay to be not just on social media. Like if I'm in a magazine, I paid for it. You know what I'm saying? We pay. It's a part of the budget. It's already in our budget.
It's I went to school for marketing. It's something, man, I've done, didn't even know I was doing, and then went to school for it, and then left there and tried it in different businesses that I had. But there's so many forms of it, and it's called different things. Whatever social media marketing is just one small area of marketing. So
it's great. Yeah, I think it's great. I don't hate on it. It's just not for my business. I was talking to my barber recently. He said, "Man, I said I'm ready to get rid of some of my social media." He said, "Man, you need that?" I said, "No, I don't." Because for my business, I don't make a lot of money off of social media. I make some, but when I'm talking to people, it's direct.
Yeah,
and they're saying, "Hey, I'm booking you to come." Not worry about whether I've sold 20,000 books, independently. So when they're bringing me someplace, somebody's saying, okay, there's going to be 150 people there. We want 150 books, a book for every person. So I'm not trying to sell one book at a time because that's probably not what's happening. I'm selling 100, 200 books at a time when I'm at a function. So that's not, how I have to do it. But I'm not knocking the person that is, but this is what I came up on. And people still need that. People still want to shake hands and talk to you and get that. It's not. And now, if somebody wanted to do a marketing business, or you want to do social media marketing business, yeah, you got to show them how you do social media. But like I said, government entities, major corporate, scenarios, they're not booking you off of social media. You can use social media to service them, but they're not giving you $2 million for something you did on social media. Like that's not how that usually works, unless they're trying to pay you to advertise something for them, like a social media influencer. But like, no, you're not selling somebody steel for a bridge on social media. You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not
Yeah.
doing that. You're not gonna be a major apartment complex and you're doing all the plumbing off of social media and all the HVAC, all the electrical off of social media. That don't work that way. So we have to understand that every business don't just go to social media. Put those businesses there, put these businesses where they need to be.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, that just goes to show that I still get flyers in my mailbox. You know, it's
And
just the
it
way.
worked.
Yeah, it works, or they wouldn't be doing it, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't be doing it if it didn't work. So you were right,
I
man.
got one. I got one today. I was sitting in my office and there's a new pizza spot, and literally it was right by lunchtime. I didn't go to them, but I almost did. If they had something I wanted today, me and my assistant was sitting there looking like, what we gonna eat? But
Yeah,
we chose another place. But seriously, that flyer came through my little slide in my office door right before lunchtime. And
yeah,
but I didn't throw it away. I left it right there on the desk. Say, hey,
right.
maybe the next time. So it still works, man.
Yeah, it works. It works. No doubt. Um, so lastly, and you can be creative with this one. The last thing, if you could picture an avalanche, and of course you have an avalanche going up a hill, and coming down the hill is a snowball. And I want to speak on momentum as far as where you started at, where you picked up, and where you're at as far as now. Where would you say you are as far as momentum to the place that you're trying to be? From that little snowball to the end of it, just a huge
I
avalanche.
sound right. I sound right where I'm supposed to be. It's so funny because I used to start over so much, even just in my regular life and in business. But then I started realizing that, like, I remember I would move to another house or another apartment, and I would get rid of all the furniture and buy new furniture, right? But you're not building; you're starting over again. Same thing with business. So, as I continue to stack my mastery, you know, I wasn't starting over. And that's why, like, when the pandemic hit me, it didn't hit me hard as everybody else. It hit me hard personally. I lost a couple family members, but business wise, I was fine. I already had a building. And so I had a 3,000 square foot building. So, yes, I wasn't doing what I was doing, but I had options to do other things. I had already wrote a book, so I put the other one out, and that one went crazy. I was already coaching, and so now people were sitting down needing coaching because they were definitely in a transitional period at the time. And so everything just kept moving and moving and moving, like you said, that momentum. And it was because I wasn't just starting over and throwing stuff away. I kept everything. Like if I learned this, I kept that. I put that in the book bag and kept going with it. So I knew when to pull it out when I needed to. I remember telling a group of kids at Morris College in South Carolina when I was speaking at 18 that I wanted to be a full-time investor by the time December 31st, 2023. I made that. I made that date. I'm really a full-time investor. I mean, I'm me coaching and training. That's just what I'm gonna always do. I'm gonna coach somebody whether they paying me or not. Like, but I have contracts, so I still do that. But I've been pretty much focused this year and going forward on investing. I've done the entrepreneurship piece. I'm teaching. I'm helping new entrepreneurs come in. But I'm full time. That's what's been my whole push is investing. I know that I can really take the money that I earn and really take this thing to another level. And I got my kids. My daughter's a teenager. My son will be a teenager soon. I'm setting them up. I'm putting them in position. They get a chance to see things that they can do. So I invest in other people's businesses. I have multiple real estate properties in South Carolina, here where I am, and now we just actually stepped into Detroit with some multifamily. And so that's been cool, man. I just been loving it. But I'm also grateful to God that He allowed me to speak this into existence. And because a kid asked me my 5-year plan, and I said it, and it happened. It happened on time. And so I'm super grateful for that. But again, I didn't let the other stuff go like that. But I just know what I'm focused on. So continue just to stack. And that's what that avalanche, that snowball does. It just picks up everything in its path while you're rolling down. It's not letting things go. It's not putting it out. It's just picking up everything to make it into that massive snowball. And that made me into the entrepreneur and the person, the future mogul that I plan to be. It's been a phenomenal ride. I mean, I can talk about the hardships, but now it's just a lifestyle. It's not even a thing. My kids, if I'm not around, they're not worried. But they know dad working. Like they're not worried about whether I'm near or not. Like that. It's there. This has been a part of their life. They say, "How's work-life balance?" There's no such thing for a person like me. It's just this is life.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's what's up. I can see you speaking on stage. That right there is a message. Where do people find you at? Where can people who's listening, who's looking for someone, a coach like yourself, where can they find you?
jhaleem.com, www.jhaleem.com. You go to the website. I am on social media platforms. I am J Haleem on all my social media platforms, so you can find me on there. I don't put much on there, but you can find all of my stuff, and everything is me talking or me doing something positive. I do something called STARVETALK. STARVE is an acronym for Stand Tall and Reclaim Victory Every Day. So we make sure that we're giving out positive information to those individuals who understand what that means, how they, trying to get up and figure it out every day. People wasn't talking to me like that, so it's my job to do what I did. I want to make the world a better place, and so for me, I do what I ain't gonna complain what you ain't doing. I'm gonna do it myself, and so we've been doing that for a couple of years now. And again, I have a nonprofit called I Won't Starve Academy. I Won't Starve is my mantra. Hashtag I Won't Starve. We have that is trademark. You'll probably see in my store, you'll see some shirts and stuff like that in there for that, or a hat. You want to get something like that if you believe in that movement. But I believe in that because I have a mantra. It's the platform you leap from is more important than the platform you land on. And I didn't understand what I was building, the platform that I was building. And through all my hardships, that was building my platform. All the things I went through was building my platform. So no matter where I leap, I'm on the other side of the country from where I was born and raised and did most of the stuff I did. But I didn't come here with my hand out. I didn't have to. I came here ready to serve, ready to contribute to the community because I came from a hell of a platform that was built. And I'm grateful to God for that. And so I can confidently say I won't starve. And with listening to me and following my teachings, I'm confident in saying you won't starve. So that's what we do. And it's just all about teaching people to not go through the same pitfalls that I've been through. Lastly, just shameless plug, my last two books, Morning Motivation. This right here, Consistent Encouragement Through a Crisis. This was written in 2021 when everybody was just talking about, all the negative stuff about COVID, especially for the business owners. We can have COVID all the time in business. Somebody losing their business every day. So it's always a crisis. So how do we stay consistently encouraged no matter what the crisis is? If you read that book, I'm telling you, this book will change your life for the rest of your life. And for my business owners, wherever you are, this right here, Business Corner, what's really needed to survive the entrepreneurial fight. My fourth book, probably my best one. I know I feel that way because everybody who's ready said if they talked to me, they said it felt like they was talking to me directly. But this is a book about business coaching because they say 85% of businesses fail. I say they fail because they don't have the right people on their team. All of my mistakes in business was because I was doing something on my own. I sold $1 million business for like $250,000 because I didn't have people on. They took advantage of it. So I understand what it means to have somebody in your corner, the right people in your corner, so you can survive and you can thrive. If you see the picture, it's a boxing ring. Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, no matter what great boxer you had, they had to have somebody in their corner. They didn't go out there themselves because you can't see all the punches when you're too busy throwing the punches yourself. So get the right person in your corner while you're on this entrepreneurial journey, and you'll be able to go ahead and thrive. You won't be falling by the wayside like the other 85%.
Man, that's profound. I that right there, the business corner. That's I could imagine what's inside of that book.
Yeah,
Because what you just said, man, you need a team.
it's
Um,
powerful.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, but listen, Jay Haleem, I have to leave it there. I mean, you just man, you just touched on so much. When I say that I want to give people, principles, and I want to give people steps, and basically what just left with, just finished with. Um, what I would like to do, what I would like to do is circle back, get you on another show. We'll talk a little deeper about
Yeah,
those other two books. But what you gave us today and what you left us with, man, I really appreciate it. I enjoyed having you on the show. I know anyone that's listening to the future millionaires out there that this was, like I say, a profound. That's the word I love using because it is what it is. Everyone, we all have a ministry at the end of the day. We all can give back with whatever it is that's inside of you. And that's the whole purpose of being a millionaire by morning, not necessarily the money aspect, but when you wake up in the morning and every morning, like the man Jay Haleem just said, it's a lifestyle that you want to live. So I want to thank you, man, for being on the show today. I want to thank you for leaving us with such
thank you,
powerful
brother.
words.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I
For
enjoyed it.
sure. All right, man. Much success in everything you do from here on out, and we'll be speaking with you soon.
You too, brother. God bless.
All right.